Hi, this is Dr. Jessica Dunn, and today we're going to be discussing the differences between nominal and effective interest rates. Nominal interest rates are the contractual rates. That's the rates that are promised to be charged by a lender or promised to be paid in the event that you are a deposit. The effective rate is the rate that is actually paid or earned. So the nominal rate is the stated rate, it's the rate that you would find in the contract, whereas the effective rate is the rate that is actually paid. Now the nominal rate and the effective rate are exactly the same if the compounding frequency is 1. So if your interest is being added to the principal only once per year, then the nominal rate and the effective rate are going to be the same. The effective rate is greater than the nominal rate whenever compounding occurs more than once per year. And as that compounding frequency increases, the effective rate is going to continue to grow greater than the nominal rate. So as the compounding frequency is increasing, your effective rate is also increasing. So that's good and bad. If you have a savings account, then you're actually earning more than the promised or the stated nominal rate. If you have a loan, then you're actually paying more than what is contractually obligated or is what's stated in your contract. So here's the formula for converting between the effective rate and the nominal rate. It says the effective annual rate is equal to 1 plus the stated nominal rate divided by compounding frequency raised to compounding frequency minus 1. We can also use the I conversion feature on our calculators. So remember our Fred example that we've talked about in the past, and if you don't, that's okay. Remember Fred deposited $100 at 8% for 2 years. And he wanted to know what would happen if he had different compounding frequencies. And if the compounding frequency is 1 at the end of 2 years, he had 116.64. If the compounding frequency was 2, so meaning it compounded every 6 months, then he had 116.99. If it compounded quarterly, he had 117.17. So you see that every time we increase that compounding frequency, our M, every time that M increases, our final dollar amount has grown, which simply means that the rate of return that we're earning, that effective rate, has increased. So let's calculate the effective rate in these different scenarios. So for annual, we can use the I conversion button on our calculator. The I conversion button can be found, it's also the number 2 button. So we push second, number 2. It asks us what is the nominal rate, what's the contractual rate. And this is a built-in function into your financial calculator, and the rule with built-in functions is that it assumes that it's interest rates and wants the whole number. So we have 8%. So 8 and enter to save. This screen, just like the rest, at the center it tells you what buttons are an option for you to push. And for some reason, this is the only function I have found in your calculator that scrolls backwards. So we scroll up here, and it doesn't matter, it's a circle, so if you scroll the wrong way, you'll eventually get to where you need to be. It asks us for our compounding frequency, our compounding periods per year. This is our M. So if it's annual, there is 1 annual period per year. So enter to save. Scroll up again, and then compute. So our nominal rate is 8%, and our effective rate is 8%. And that's always true. If we have annual compounding, then our nominal rate and effective rate is equal. So the effective rate is 8%. Our nominal rate for all of these is 8%. So our nominal is 8. For all of them, our nominal is 8%. So now let's see what happens if our compounding frequency is semi-annual. There are two semi-annual periods per year, so let me show you how to get into the I conversion again in case you forget. Second I conversion, we enter in our nominal rate, 8%. We enter it as a whole number interest rate. We push enter to save it, scroll up, compounding periods per year, that is our M, it is 2 because there are two 6-month periods in 1 year. And I did not push enter to save that. So 2, enter, to save, scroll up, and then compute. And we get 8.16%. So we're actually earning more than 8%, which this goes hand in hand with what we had found where Fred actually had more than the 116.64 if we increase compounding frequency. Now let's go ahead and do our quarterly. So our nominal rate is still 8%. The equal sign's there, so it's saved. Compounding periods per year, this is our M, and it's 4 because there are 4 quarters in 1 year. Enter to save, scroll up, and compute, and we get 8.24. So as we increase that compounding frequency, our effective rate is increasing. So let's look at an example. What is the effective annual rate associated with a 10% nominal rate if the interest is compounded daily? So again, let's use that I conversion button. So second, number 2. Our nominal rate is 10%, so whole number 10, enter to save, scroll up. Compounding periods per year, this is compounded daily, and there are 365 days in 1 year. So 365, enter, scroll up, and compute. And I got 10.52%. So let's look at another example, an ethical question. How fair is checking to cash? Checking to cash is a payday lender. So they are making short-term unsecured loans. They're due every week, every 2 weeks. They're usually they're payday loans, so they're just advances on your paycheck essentially, but they carry very high interest rates. So here's an example. A borrower borrows $100. They keep it for 10 weeks. So that's 5 2-week periods. During that period, they accumulate $75 in fees. So 75 divided by 5 means that they're getting $15 in fees and interest every 2 weeks. So they borrow $100 every 2 weeks. They're paying $15 or 15%. So the nominal rate then is 390%. That's 15%, which is the rate that they're paying every 2 weeks, multiplied by 26 because there are 26 2-week periods in a year. So that gives us a nominal rate of 390%. So let's calculate the effective rate associated with that. Remember, the nominal rate is the contractual rate. The effective rate is the rate that you're actually paying. So if our nominal rate is 390%, we scroll up. There are 26 2-week periods in a year, so our compounding frequency is 26. And then we compute the effective rate. That gives us 3,685%. So what that means is if someone borrowed $100, they kept it for 26 2-week periods, so 1 year. At the end of that year, they would owe $3,685.68. It's pretty impressive.